What's up, everyone? It's Market Wizard here. This is another episode of Market Updates. In these videos, I go through the latest crypto market updates, the key levels to watch, and the setups I'm currently tracking. In the last episode, that was around 68K on February 17th, around this level. I said that Bitcoin needs to go down and sweep the lows before it puts any meaningful long-term bottom, because that's what Bitcoin always do. It gets all the liquidity that's resting on the lows that were untested before it puts any long-term bottom. I also said that if we go higher first and sweep the highs, then I will position myself short, aiming for range lows again. What happened after that? A lot of choppy price action. As you can see here, a lot of chop. But we did take out some lows. To be honest, we went all the way down to almost 62K. So that was like 7% down from where I made the video. Of course, I took some trades in between, but I'm not making video every time I take a trade. So feel free to follow me on Twitter or X. My X handle is MarketWizard94. Here I put daily market updates. So yeah, feel free to follow me if you want to see what I do day to day. So yeah, back to the chart. So this is our range highs around 72K and our range lows around 60K. As I said, we took some lows here, but we still have the 60K that is unswept. We also have some lows that were not swept here, 63, and then again. So this is something we need to keep in mind. What I'm expecting next is it's not something that is guaranteed, but that's a very likely scenario. So I'd like to show you something here. This is the liquidation heat map. As you can see, at these levels, around 74, 72, in this range here, there is a lot of liquidations. As you can see, the color gets more intense in this level, and that's because there's a lot of liquidations. And here as well, around the 62K level. And what Bitcoin loves to do is, as you can see from the past, it loves to take the liquidity before the real move begins. So back in November to January range, Bitcoin was rejecting around 93K for 2 months, finally broke above it, trapped everyone, took out all the liquidations and the liquidity that was resting on these levels, and then started to go down again. So this is a possibility for now. So this is something to keep in mind. If Bitcoin starts trading above the resistance, above 72K, and it distributes and it goes back into the range again, then you know what happens next. We're going to move down and take all the unswept lows here, here, and so on. So this is something very important that you need to keep in mind. Another reason that this could be the case is that today's pump is mostly perp driven. As you can see, there's a lot of longs that were opened this morning. And we don't usually see these kind of moves in the European session. The real moves happen in the New York session, where the Bitcoin ETFs are buying. And I'm going to explain this right here. So as you can see, this is the Coinbase premium. And this shows us that this is where the Bitcoin ETFs are buying. The premium, as you can see, turns positive when the Bitcoin ETFs are buying, and it turns negative when they are selling. So where did we top out? When Bitcoin ETFs started selling and the Coinbase premium turned negative. Why are we saying Coinbase and not Binance? That's because Bitcoin ETFs, the US Bitcoin ETFs, are buying from Coinbase. That's why we are using this metric to understand when the ETFs are buying. As you can see, we started going positive again after many months, and that's the primary reason for this recovery. We can also see the ETF flows here. This is yesterday's, this is Monday's, and this is last week's summary, weekly summary. We saw almost 800 million of net inflows for the Bitcoin ETFs last week. And now in 2 days, we saw 700 millions. So yeah, this is the primary reason that we are seeing this recovery. But we can't ignore that we are going into a high time frame key level, which is 74 up to 78, or even up to 80, because that was the point of breakdown. So this lines up with the idea I explained earlier. If we get this push upwards, this is our high time frame resistance level, and here is where Bitcoin can get rejected and deviate back into the range again. What else I wanted to talk about? Let's move into Ethereum. That's pretty similar. It took out some lows around 1800, but there is still more lows around here, 1750. So again, this could be a similar scenario that we can see on Bitcoin. Deviation above range highs, take all the liquidity that is resting here, and then back into the range again. What else? Let's go into Solana. This is much clearer range. As you can see, it's just bouncing around the 76 level, rejecting around the 90 level. This is like free money. Seriously, you just long support, short resistance, simple as that. No tricks, no fake breakouts, just bouncing on support and rejecting at resistance. Rinse and repeat until this range is broken. Obviously, not sure if it's going to be to the upside or to the downside. Until one side gives up, just keep playing this range. So would make sense to enter some shorts maybe here. We can see there is a 3 drives pattern, but anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on Solana. Our primary focus is Bitcoin because that's what drives the markets. I also wanted to show you that I have this terminal that shows the liquidations, the take profits, and the stop losses of Hyperliquid on chain. And we can see here on the chart. So these are the liquidation levels. These are the take profits. And these are the stop losses. So there is a lot of liquidity to be taken above 72K and lines up with the deviation scenario that I talked earlier. If Bitcoin took out the lows before it went here, then I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin could just reclaim the key levels and keep going up. But Bitcoin never leaves untested lows, except the COVID crash, which was an outlier. So yeah, if you are feeling FOMO and euphoric today, think about it. This could be a trap. I'm not saying that it is, but since we are in a downtrend, a high time frame downtrend, we need to be cautious because, again, this is where everyone flipped bullish since we reclaimed the resistance here, and then Bitcoin went back into the range and kept going down. So this could be the same again. When does this change? When the market structure change. So if Bitcoin can go and create a higher high and a higher low, then that's when you have the confirmation that the market structure is now bullish. But until that happens, we need to respect the trend, and the trend is down until we flip this level, in my opinion. Yeah, if you like the video, please subscribe, leave your comment below, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.